Welcome back to Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I'm very grateful to have you here. It's the first week of January in 2024, and already good stuff are beginning to happen. In the transfer window, there's a lot of conversation to have for all clubs, and also there's specificity with exactly what's going on with Chelsea. Stick to this channel. Do not change the dial. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Do turn on your notifications and do choose all, because I give you the various Chelsea content if you're a Chelsea fan, and then there's content also from every other club in the English Premier League, Spanish La Liga, Italian Serie A, the German Bundesliga, and of course the French League 1. The African Cup of Nations is also on the horizon. We'll do a lot of the analysis in the African Cup of Nations. We'll tell you about the various teams that are in there, what they do, their chances, and how exactly it looks like the African Cup of Nations is going to pan out in there. But first of all, let me tell you who my dark horse of this year's African Cup of Nations is. Even before that, let me tell you of this very good information that you probably do not have. Do you know that in the last 12 years or 10 years and more, every African Cup of Nations has not been hosted by its original host? Yes. So in 2012, actually, when Libya were in the midst of war, they were supposed to host the next African Cup of Nations. Because of the civil war, Libya weren't able to host the African Cup of Nations at the time, and then it was moved to the southern parts of Africa. And when Afcon was hosted over the 2013, SA took charge and hosted it for Africa. Then Morocco was supposed to host it in 2015. Because of the outbreak of Ebola, they didn't host the African Cup of Nations. Equatorial Guinea did that. South Africa was supposed to host it in 2017 originally. But because of their arrangement with Libya, they thought at the time Libya probably would have come out of their issues with the civil war. They had not. They also weren't able to host it in 2017, and then Gabon did host it in 2017. Cameroon was supposed to host it in 2019 actually. They failed to host it because they were not prepared with infrastructure. Egypt went on to host it. Then La Côte d'Ivoire was supposed to host it in the last one in 2021, but because Cameroon weren't ready for their infrastructure and it had to be moved back to them, they hosted in 2021, and then this time it was supposed to have gone to Guinea in 2023, but La Côte d'Ivoire is going to have it because Cameroon hosted it the last time when they weren't prepared in that order, and Guinea was supposed to host it in 2025, but because of sanctions and whatnot, Guinea have been stripped off the African Cup of Nations, hosted in 2025, and Morocco will be hosting it in 2025. So yes, this is by way of my Afcon update for you here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. This Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Do not stay away from the channel. This is the channel for you with all their conversation. Now let's get into it. First of all, for Chelsea fans, I'm very excited because of these reasons. First of all, Noni Madueke is firing, getting the results done, getting the goals in there. He's playing some excellent football for Chelsea Football Club. Quite apart from that, of what Noni Madueke is doing, you look at the job and the returns from injury that Chelsea are having. Now, all of a sudden, Benjamin Chilwell was spotted in training, and Nkunku was spotted in training also. Benoit Belashile wasn't really spotted, but there is also the young man, Kani Chukwuemeka, who I call the connector. Kani is a very important player for everything that Chelsea wants to do, in terms of a player that can receive the ball in between the line, a player that can accept the ball in those zones, pick up those passes, and then play forward. He's very imperative to everything that Chelsea wants to do in the middle of the park, and Kani Chukwuemeka is back in there. Now, let us take a look at Chelsea's next fixture list, the kind of games that are going to come, and how it looks like they are going to pan out for Chelsea. So the next two games that Chelsea has, these are going to be cup games. So first off, Chelsea are going to make sure that they are going to play in the FA Cup final, FA Cup qualification route, and then make sure that they go far in that as well. There's also the Carabao Cup semi-final, which is very important in that regard. And then you go on to come and play Fulham. There is Liverpool also this month. This is probably going to be a very good month for Chelsea if things are done very well. We'll get into the details. But before we go into that, by way of transfers at Chelsea Football Club, let me run you by them. I'm running you by all the transfer updates at Chelsea Football Club. So Trevor Chalobah, who as it stands now, appears to be surplus to demands at Chelsea. Looks like he's on his way out at Chelsea, out of Chelsea. Now there are a host of clubs. You remember in the summer, Thomas Tuchel's Bayern Munich had come and had spoken to Chelsea, had asked for the signature of Trevor Chalobah. At the time, he was reported to have gone out injured, hence he could not go away to FC Bayern Munich. Now, the other clubs that are coming through, like Jose Mourinho's AS Roma, they need a lot of quality, especially for the fact that Evan Ndika, they're one of their best centre backs, right-footed centre backs, is going to join the Ivory Coast in the African Cup of Nations. Hence, they need a lot of quality in there. It was Evan Ndika, there is Brian Cristante, then of course there is Chris Smalling. Now, once Evan is leaving, they need a replacement for Ndika in the Giallorossi team for AS Roma, and that's exactly why they have contacted Chelsea. In fact, according to Sky Italia, they've spoken to Chelsea, and then Chelsea are open to letting Trevor Chalobah leave this month if he returns to full fitness. Mind you, the deal is going to be hinged on if Trevor Chalobah is able to find full fitness, an important one for them. The fee is hovering around 25 to 30 million quid for Chelsea Football Club for their man Trevor Chalobah to leave Chelsea, to leave London, and then go to Rome. Mind you, there is already Tammy Abraham. The deal between Chelsea and Tammy Abraham was a very good one. Chelsea and Roma for Tammy Abraham was a very good one. Hence, Chelsea and AS Roma have very good relationship. Jose Mourinho also believes that there are a host of English talents who are not thriving in England, but when they are given a chance in Italy, they can thrive. Already, there has been Oluwafikayo Tomori, who has gone in there, has played some good football. There was a time where Ola Aina also was in the Italian Serie A. Now, last season, there was also Robin Loftus-Cheek from Chelsea also to AC Milan. There have been boys who have played in the English Premier League before, like Pulisic, who are not English themselves. Olivier Giroud also has gone to the Italian Serie A, and then you're playing some good stuff over there. So it is very, very important that these players get some chance to play elsewhere. And there is breaking news today. The breaking news is that Chelsea have recalled Brazilian young central midfielder Andre Santos from loan. You remember Andre Santos joined Middlesbrough, actually. Not Middlesbrough, Nottingham Forest on loan. He had come short of numbers. And mind you, Nottingham Forest this season had gone in for the likes of Ibrahima Sangare and the likes from the PSV. They've stacked up their midfield. They had a lot of experience in there. So Andre Santos wasn't getting a lot of playing time. Santos's entourage has spoken to Chelsea that they felt that it was needless he going to Nottingham Forest, and that they had to recall him. He has been recalled. Chelsea are looking for other options for him. There's a speak of Newcastle United. There are some teams that are speaking of teams like Crystal Palace and some of the teams in London where Andre Santos can go out and play for the rest of the season on loan. It's important that he gets some time to play. Mind you, he was with Cesare Casadere. That's what the Italians say, Cesare Casadere or Cesare Casadere, who were both bought for Chelsea this summer. They are seen as young players. They were supposed to go out to get a lot of experience. For Casadere, he has gotten a lot of experience this season, playing a host of games under Enzo Maresca, the former Manchester City assistant manager, the Italian. Cesare is also Italian, and he's finding his feet in there as a proper CM. Mind you, Casadere is a very tall, bulky, young player that has a very long strikes, has very, very good strikes, very pacey, good on the ball, more like a register, but also box to box in that regard. And he's having a very good time with Leicester City in the English Championship, and that's exactly what's going on. For Andre Santos' compatriot, Andre is not getting game time at Chelsea, at Nottingham Forest, and he has been recalled. In fact, over the weekend, he was seen in a picture with the family of Gabriel Jesus and then Willian, both Brazilian compatriots in London. So it means that Andre Santos has moved from Nottingham back to London in the anticipation of he being recalled. And finally, Chelsea is reporting that he has been recalled in that regard. It's very, very, very important for a player like that. When you buy a young player and you're a big team and you don't have time for them to blossom and then go together, loans are for them to get time to grow together, experience the game, and then become better players the season before, so that you can record them the back, then they can play. But for Andre Santos, he hasn't really played as a Sans now, and then he's not getting a lot of game time. There's also another young Chelsea player who was bought for the team, Alex Maatsen. He's also a central midfielder, brilliant player. Alex Maatsen, as I speak with you now, is going ahead to do his medicals with Huddersfield United, and he's going to play for Huddersfield Town over there as well. In there, it's very, very important for the young players to get some very good game time in there. Now, the big one is the fact that Ian Maatsen is wanting to look elsewhere. Ian Maatsen, his entourage has spoken to Chelsea yesterday. They spoke extensively about his game time and then the fact that they would want to look elsewhere. And then all of a sudden, there is Borussia Dortmund, who are very serious on it. Bild, Kicker, Sky Germany. These are all outlets that are reporting heavily that Ian Maatsen, the Dutch international, who had played for Burnley before, who is a Chelsea player, can play as a right wing back, as a right winger, can play sometimes as a CM, is already looking for options, and Dortmund are a very, very viable option for Ian Maatsen to go away. Now, there's an update on Conor Gallagher and where he is with his contract extension or not. So, per the Athletic, there is no contract extension from Chelsea on the table as it stands now. But I still stand by what I told you earlier on. Conor Gallagher is not going to leave Chelsea this January. He's not going to leave Chelsea, especially this January. It is going to be absurd and unheard of for Conor Gallagher to leave the team. He is a weapon tactically, especially when you want to inject pace and aggression into games, when you want to turn balls over, when you want to win it back, when you want to play forward. Conor Gallagher is so instrumental, and Chelsea are not going to let him go. Even if Romeo Lavia is fit, he's going to be a member of the squad in terms of temperament and leadership. He helps the team a lot, especially with Reese's injury. He is a very, very important player for Chelsea Football Club, and he's not going to leave. And this is exactly what David Austin did say about Conor Gallagher. So there is really interesting situation, and many people sort of reaching credulously to this, but we have got to look at it quite clinically. Whether supporters like it or not, he is out of contract in 2025. Chelsea, like many other clubs, are taking the stance of you not need to sign a new deal, or we are going to have you to trade you. There is no sense that a new deal is close at this point, which would bring him to the point of 12 months to go in if the summer. So if credible offers come in for him at a level at Chelsea's owners would expect, I don't know, maybe somewhere around 60 million, 70 million, 80 million. So that's exactly what the reports are, that Chelsea's owners don't want to keep a player who has not signed a contract extension. You don't want players to be there and then their contract will run out. So if you are there and you realize that your contract is getting very close, then they may trade you if really they believe that you are the player that can possibly go out and somebody can come and get you for free. So he has just 12 months on his contract in the summer. Chelsea knows that in 2025 he may leave, and that's exactly why if somebody comes today with good money, like I said, anytime we are talking about a transfer window, make sure that you follow these things with the specific words. Look at the diction of every journalist that tweets about transfers. The journalists are very, very intricate. Their words are very, very carefully selected, and you watch them well. It is simple. If anybody is going to go and get Conor Gallagher, it has to be at a hefty fee, 70 million, 60 million, 80 million. Then Chelsea can go into the market and get another, maybe a better version of Conor Gallagher to come to the club. So that is it by way of Conor Gallagher and his injury situation. At Chelsea yesterday, I told you about Todibo, Jean-Claude Todibo, an important player, RCD. Chelsea want aggressors. They want aggressors, centre-back aggressors who can step into the midfield, win the ball back, play forward, be aggressive and get into duels. The duelers, quote unquote, and that's exactly why they are looking in for players like Jean-Claude Todibo. Very, very good player. The problem is that Todibo has gone into play at some big clubs before and he has flattered to deceive. So Chelsea may not pay a hefty fee for him, but they want to take a chance if it comes. David Austin says they have been linked in recent times in Jean-Claude Todibo from Nice, but that's not what I expect to be happening in January window for Chelsea or Tottenham Hotspur. And that's exactly what it is in there for Chelsea Football Club. When there, but the other news in the next video about other clubs with respect to where they are, the players they are signing, and what's not. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. Thank you very much for joining me. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification, and do choose on. Bye.